It began on an ordinary summer morning in 2007 in Cedar Grove, Indiana, a quiet Midwestern town where nothing much ever happened. Neighbors awoke to newspapers lying uncollected on the porch of the Whitfield home. By noon, the mailman noticed something stranger. The front door was slightly ajar, and the family's car was still in the driveway. Inside, the breakfast table was set, bowls of cereal half filled with milk, a coffee maker still warm. But the Whitfields, Mark, his wife Susan, and their two children, Emily and Jacob, were gone. The sight of an untouched breakfast, paired with the eerie silence of a home that should have been buzzing with family life, became the spark of mystery that would haunt the community and baffle investigators for years. It wasn't a burglary. Wallets and purses were untouched. It wasn't a runaway. Clothes, school supplies, and the family dog were still inside. It was as though the Whitfields had stepped out for a moment and never came back. Mark Whitfield, 42, was a respected accountant known for his meticulousness. Susan, 39, taught part-time at the local elementary school. Their daughter Emily, 10, loved to draw, while Jacob, just 7, was obsessed with baseball. They weren't wealthy, weren't troubled, and had no known enemies. On the surface, they were the kind of family that embodied the American dream. Stable jobs, close-knit routines, and friendly relations with neighbors. But as detectives soon discovered, there were cracks beneath the perfect picture. Mark had recently been questioned at work about discrepancies in financial reports. Susan had confided in a friend about feeling unsafe, though she never explained why. The couple had also been arguing about an investment property Mark purchased without telling Susan. These small details, when viewed in isolation, seemed ordinary. Together, they hinted at tension simmering just below the surface. The official timeline began on June 17, 2007. Surveillance cameras from a nearby gas station showed the Whitfield's minivan pulling at around 9:15 p.m. Mark fill the tank. Susan bought snacks with her credit card, and the children appeared cheerful in the backseat. That was the last confirmed sighting of the family alive. The next morning, as neighbors grew concerned, police entered the Whitfield home. The chilling details stood out. Susan's cell phone sat on the kitchen counter. Mark's wallet was on the dresser, and the children's favorite stuffed toys were on their beds. Nothing was missing, except the people. The scene was intact, yet deeply wrong, like a play where the actors had vanished mid-performance. The case quickly drew regional attention. Police combed the nearby woods, drained a retention pond, and even brought in cadaver dogs, but no trace emerged. Suspicion first fell on Mark. Had financial stress driven him to harm his family? But no evidence supported that theory. Next, investigators examined Susan's past. She had briefly dated a man years before who later stalked her. Could he have resurfaced? Again, no leads. The most unsettling development came weeks later when investigators found a Whitfield's minivan, abandoned 30 miles away in a rural cornfield. Inside, the gas tank was nearly full. Snack wrappers littered the floor, and Jacob's baseball gloves sat in the back seat. There were no fingerprints, wiped clean, no sign of a struggle. It was as if the family had simply exited the vehicle and vanished into thin air. Months into the investigation, a disturbing clue emerged. A hunter in a neighboring county found a tattered piece of paper wedged into a tree trunk, weathered by rain but still legible. It was a handwritten note. They wouldn't listen. They never listened. Now they'll stay quiet forever. Handwriting analysis couldn't definitively link the note to Mark, Susan, or anyone else in the family, but its cryptic message set off endless speculation. Was it a confession, a taunt from the abductor, or a cruel hoax planted to mislead investigators? Then came an even more unsettling twist. A truck driver claimed he saw a woman and two children matching Susan, Emily, and Jacob's description at a rest stop in Kentucky 2 weeks after the disappearance. But when authorities checked surveillance, the footage was corrupted, the critical few minutes erased. The Whitfield mystery grew into one of Indiana's most enduring cold cases. Over the years, dozens of tips poured in. Some claimed to spot Susan in neighboring states. Others swore they'd seen Mark in Las Vegas. None were ever confirmed. Theories ranged from voluntary disappearance to abduction by someone close to the family, or even by someone they never knew. The house where the Whitfields once lived still stands, but neighbors say no one stays there for long. Tenants complain of doors left open, of hearing voices in the night, of finding cereal boxes placed on a counter as though breakfast is about to be served. Whether those are just the whispers of a haunted community or signs of something darker remains unclear. To this day, the Whitfield case remains unsolved. No bodies were ever found. No ransom note was ever sent. No charges were ever filed. All that remains are fragments: a family car in a cornfield, a cryptic note in the woods, a corrupted surveillance tape, and a home frozen in time. 4 true crime followers. The Whitfield disappearance is a chilling reminder of how fragile normal life can be. One night, you're eating dinner with your family, making plans for the weekend. The next, you're gone, and the world is left asking questions that will never be answered.